So last night I was out here just kind of messing around with the 86 and realizing that I needed kind of just a little bit of something to kind of give me some motivation. So we did a couple things, and let me show you what we did. Honestly, don't mind the garage; it is a complete mess. But so actually, one of the things that we were able to do, we actually got the wiper arms in fully. They're completely bolted down, so now I can throw actual wipers on it for eventually. This was kind of a big deal because I didn't know that the car came with these, and they have become almost impossible to find. Honestly, it's hard to just even find the wiper arms. So let alone to find these are kind of getting hard to find. So we were able to get that in after fighting with that for a minute. Me and my dad were able to get that in. We actually got the wiper motor in. Actually, I can't really show you guys. The previous owner of this car, they had a bunch of the holes in the firewall. They had them, they welded a plate because they actually stitch welded this entire engine bay. This was going to be a complete race car. So we actually had to knock that hole out because that hole is obviously for the wiper motor. So there's a couple other holes, like you guys can see right there. That hole is actually where the wiring harness comes in. There's another small one right here. I'm not exactly sure what it's for. These, obviously, this is brake booster. Stuff like that. So we were able to get that out. We got the wiper motor in, we got the arms in, and then actually what we did was that's all my casery stuff. We actually got the headlight motors in completely, so now they're completely on there. It's not just flappy anymore. They work. Again, nothing really crazy, but just something to give me just a little bit of motivation. I'm not gonna lie though, sometimes it could be hard because especially when you're dealing with a situation like this where it's gonna be a very big swap and it's gonna take a lot of time and a lot of money, that's not necessarily your top priority. It can be hard because there's a lot of stuff that I want to do to this car, but there's a lot of stuff that I can't do to it just because it doesn't make sense. Like, I would love to put the interior back together, but the problem is there's no point in me putting the interior back together when eventually when I get the motor, when I get the trans, when I get the wiring harness, it's gonna have to be all ripped apart anyway to, do any wiring that I want to do, especially because more than likely I'm going on a standalone. So a lot of times it's like you don't want to waste your time doing stuff for you to have to redo it later. Because, I mean, honestly, last time you guys saw it, it had door cards. It had a full dash in it. I actually sold the door cards to a friend of mine, and I sold the dash to him as well because he has an 86, and he really needed a dash. I have my old dash, my black one, that only has one crack in it, so I'm going to use that one in here. But the door cards, I'm going to get the flat T3 ones. They save a little bit of weight. They look really cool, and overall, this car is not really going to be on the street much, so I don't really need any street functions. So, I mean... But yeah, like, there's no point in me putting the dash in, putting interior, putting the carpet in. There's no point because at the end of the day, I'm going to have to tear it all apart for when eventually I do, all the wiring anyway. I did not do this. This was in here from the previous owner. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. They even had lines for, I don't know if it was supposed to be a hydro or if it's supposed to be a line lock. I think they were going to drag race this car. Personally, but I know that they also did drag race this car and that they were talking about turning it into a drift car, which is where these stickers came from. So, I mean, there's a lot of different stories about this car that I quite don't know, but I mean, yeah, so. But yeah, so as of right now, this is how she's sitting. Like I said, I didn't do much, but what we did do is a little tiny little motivation booster, just to kind of be hands-on and kind of touching it and, kind of turning some wrenches on it every now and then really helps. It's just, like I said, you don't want to put a whole bunch of stuff in it that you're gonna have to take out when the shit gets heavy. So I'm just kind of stuck in that. I mean, this car did come with fenders. I did take the fenders off just because of space, and eventually I am gonna have to take these to a body shop because this one is tweaked up, and whoever rolled these did an absolute shit job. But these fenders are dumb clean, dumb man. There was like hardly any real rust on them. And if anybody knows, OEM clean fenders for an 86, it's literally a gold mine. So I'm definitely gonna try to get those fixed. But yeah, this is how she's gonna sit for right now. So later.